Electric cars are everywhere today. They are quiet and clean. They're also becoming more affordable. But electric cars are not new. In fact, they have a long and fascinating history. The first electric vehicles were developed long before gasoline-powered cars. To understand the history of electric cars, we need to go back to the 19th century. In the 1830s, inventors in Europe and North America began experimenting with electric vehicles. These early pioneers were driven by curiosity. They wanted to see if electricity could be used to power transportation. One of the earliest electric vehicles was built by Robert Anderson, a Scottish inventor. Anderson's work in the early 19th century laid the foundation for electric transportation. His innovative spirit and determination were crucial in the development of electric vehicles. Around 1832, Anderson created a crude electric carriage. This early model was far from perfect, but it demonstrated the potential of electric propulsion. This was one of the first examples of an electric vehicle. It marked a significant milestone in the history of transportation. A few years later, in 1835, Thomas Davenport, an American inventor, built a more practical electric car. Davenport's contributions were instrumental in advancing electric vehicle technology. His invention was a small electric locomotive that ran on a short track. This innovation showcased the versatility of electric power. These early electric vehicles were limited by the batteries of the time. The technology for storing electrical energy was still in its infancy. Batteries were large and heavy, they were cumbersome and not very efficient. They also did not hold much charge. This severely limited the range and practicality of early electric vehicles. Despite these limitations, the early pioneers showed that electric vehicles were possible. Their work inspired future generations of inventors and engineers. They paved the way for future innovation. The legacy of these early inventors continues to influence the development of modern electric vehicles. In the late 19th century, there were significant advancements in battery technology. Inventors developed new types of batteries. These batteries were smaller, lighter, and more powerful. These improvements in battery technology made electric vehicles a more practical option for transportation. With better batteries, electric cars became more popular. They were especially popular in cities. People liked that electric cars were quiet and did not produce any fumes. Electric cars were seen as a cleaner and more comfortable alternative to horse-drawn carriages. Section 4. The rise and fall of the electric car. The late 19th and early 20th centuries were the golden age of electric cars. During this period, electric vehicles were seen as the future of transportation, offering a cleaner and quieter alternative to the noisy and polluting gasoline cars of the time. Companies like Baker Electric and Detroit Electric emerged. These companies were pioneers in the electric vehicle industry, producing some of the most advanced and reliable electric cars of their era. They produced elegant and reliable electric cars. These vehicles were not only functional but also stylish, attracting a lot of attention and admiration. These cars were favored by wealthy individuals and even royalty. The elite class appreciated the convenience and sophistication of electric cars, making them a status symbol of the time. However, the popularity of electric cars began to decline in the 1910s and 1920s. This decline was gradual but noticeable, as more and more people started to prefer gasoline-powered vehicles. This was due to several factors. The automotive industry was rapidly evolving, and new technologies were being developed that favored gasoline engines. The discovery of large oil reserves led to the mass production of affordable gasoline-powered cars. This made gasoline cars more accessible to the general public. Henry Ford's assembly line made gasoline cars much cheaper than electric cars. The efficiency of mass production significantly reduced the cost of gasoline vehicles. Electric cars also suffered from their limited range compared to gasoline cars. The technology of the time couldn't provide the same level of convenience and reliability that gasoline cars offered. The golden age of electric cars was over. The once promising future of electric vehicles faded as gasoline cars took over the roads, marking the end of an era. Section 5. A new century, a second chance. After World War II, interest in electric cars revived. The devastation of the war had left many cities in need of rebuilding, and there was a renewed focus on innovation and sustainability. electric cars, which had been largely forgotten, started to gain attention once again. The oil crises of the 1970s brought the need for alternative fuel sources to the forefront. Long lines at gas stations and skyrocketing fuel prices made it clear that reliance on oil was not sustainable. This period marked a significant turning point in the search for alternative energy solutions. Governments and automakers started investing in research and development of electric vehicles. Research labs and R&D departments buzzed with activity as engineers worked tirelessly to overcome the technical challenges of electric mobility. This era laid the groundwork for future advancements. However, early electric cars still faced challenges such as limited range and high costs. The technology of the time couldn't support long-distance travel, and the components required were prohibitively expensive. These obstacles slowed the widespread adoption of electric vehicles. In the 21st century, companies like Tesla have revolutionized the electric car industry. With the introduction of the Tesla Roadster, a new era of high-performance, long-range electric vehicles began. Tesla's success inspired other automakers to follow suit. Advancements in battery technology, electric motors, and charging infrastructure have made electric cars more practical and desirable. Modern batteries offer greater range and faster charging times, while efficient electric motors provide impressive performance. Charging stations have become more widespread, making it easier for drivers to keep their vehicles powered. Electric vehicles are now seen as a viable alternative to gasoline-powered cars. They offer numerous benefits, including lower emissions, reduced fuel costs, and a quieter, smoother driving experience. Consumers are increasingly choosing electric vehicles for their environmental and economic advantages. The future of electric cars looks bright. With continuous improvements in technology and growing consumer acceptance, electric vehicles are poised to become a dominant force in the automotive industry. The journey from early prototypes to modern electric cars has been long, but the destination promises a cleaner, more sustainable future for all.